Hello, welcome. My name is Grant Tennille. I'm the logistics coordinator for Caravela North America. Thank you for joining us for this virtual discussion of some of the supply chain problems and challenges we're experiencing on the export side, on the import side, and also talk about what we're doing to address and adapt to these circumstances, and talk about some of the things our customers can do to reduce the risk of experiencing their own disruptions. I'm lucky enough to be joined by my colleagues Rosana Ulin and Paulo Mendez in Guatemala, as well as Laura Torres in Colombia. So how did we get here? We all remember everything grinding to a halt at the beginning of the pandemic. And while that was certainly the start of it, it was really the surge in Chinese exports following their unexpectedly quick reopening. A surge driven both by backlogged orders and the spike in retail ordering online from the rest of the world that was still in lockdown. It was really this surge that did not have an accompanying import surge from the purchasing countries. It was this initial imbalance that has really kind of metastasized, if you will, to the situation today, which has touched every part of the global supply chain. So to hear about how this unfolded at origin, let's hear from Laura, Paula, and Rosanna.
Entre abril y junio, la ralentización del comercio provocó una caída en la demanda de fletes marítimos y esto obligó a las empresas navieras a reajustar sus tarifas para adaptarse al nuevo escenario. Sin embargo, a partir de agosto, la demanda comenzó a recuperarse a niveles inesperados gracias a que gran parte de las empresas en China reiniciaron sus actividades productivas y a su vez se inició la reposición de inventarios a los países importadores.
Las empresas navieras han reportado que hay una alta demanda de exportaciones. Esto les ha generado varios problemas ya que ellos no estaban con la capacidad de esta alta demanda. Hay mucho congestionamiento en los puertos, el cual no pueden liberar los contenedores. Esto genera la escasez de contenedores para las reservas que ya estaban hechas. Nos genera falta de espacio en las navieras y también hay un cambio de rutas. Estos cambios de rutas han generado que se dé más tiempo en los viajes de origen a destino, provocando esto costos adicionales, tanto para los importadores como los exportadores en las portuarias.
Pues nos ha afectado de tres formas. Nos ha afectado en nuestras planeaciones, nos ha afectado en los costos y nos ha afectado en las portuarias. ¿Por qué? Porque las portuarias, como bien decía mi compañera Rosy, no tenían la capacidad, o mejor dicho, no tienen la capacidad de equipo suficiente, disponible, espacios. Cuando hablamos de equipos, estamos hablando de contenedores y estamos hablando de buques. Los espacios en las navieras nos los están roleando. ¿Qué significa esto? Que nosotros ponemos una fecha para abril 1 y nos la cambian abril 15 y nos lo avisan días antes. Entonces, o nosotros nos damos cuenta al momento que estamos solicitando que podamos retirar el contenedor de la portuaria y nos dicen de que no tienen disponibilidad de equipo.
Debido a la situación de la pandemia que venimos viviendo desde el 2020 y a eso sumado a la situación sociopolítica del país, nos hemos visto afectados a nivel país, recibiendo solamente 3 embarcaciones mensualmente. Estas 3 embarcaciones exportan o sacan todo el producto de Nicaragua, tanto arroz, azúcar, y eso incluyendo nuestro buen café. Pero esto limita mucho los espacios para poder embarcar nuestro producto, afectándonos en los tiempos y teniendo retrasos en estas.
Tiene la industria marítima funcionando a pleno rendimiento. La capacidad de las naves está ocupada y se han tenido que usar naves que debían dejar de operar, se han tenido que readaptar para que sigan funcionando. La disponibilidad de contenedores es cada vez menor y las acciones implementadas por los gobiernos de los países para disminuir los contagios está impactando negativamente la productividad de los terminales, con menos trabajadores disponibles y menos turnos para realizar las operaciones. Esto hace que los buques tengan que estar en los puertos varios días o incluso semanas esperando para ser atendidos, aumentando de esta manera el tiempo promedio de circulación de los contenedores. Nuestras operaciones se han visto afectadas por los retrasos en los itinerarios, las congestiones portuarias, la escasez en los contenedores, la falta de espacio en las naves y los constantes rollovers en Puerto de Buenaventura y Cartagena.
One of the most succinct analyses that I've read reminded me of my favorite local pizzeria run by two brothers from Napoli. And whenever friends, family walk in, they're greeted with a hearty "Tutto a posto," which means like "all good, everything okay." But it's very common greeting in southern Italy. But it literally translates as "tutto," everything a posto, in its place, tutto a posto. And where we're at now is, I feel like, literally the exact opposite of that. Niente a posto. Nothing is in its place. Nothing is where it needs to be. Not goods, not the containers that should be carrying those goods, not the vessels that are carrying those containers, and not the labor that's making all of that happen. So we've got full containers that are either stuck somewhere or moving very slowly. Transit times from Latin America to the West Coast are in some cases more than twice as long as normal, with vessels having to go all the way up to the Pacific Northwest before returning south to stop at Oakland and Los Angeles, Long Beach, sometimes waiting for 10 days just in the offshore, waiting to pull in and go to the terminal and be unloaded. Empty containers, same thing. Empty containers are not where they need to be, whether it's the mill or the port or the factory or the vessel that they need to be on to be returning to get to one of those places. And labor, warehouse workers, coffee pickers, dock workers, truck drivers, whether they're missing due to illness or safety protocols, childcare, homeschooling, or other caregiving. We've had cases where warehouses were short 15 people on any given day, and the same goes for certainly port locations as well. So what are the results of all this? As Laura and Paula are about to tell us, the results are delays, added expenses, and the need for contingency plans and constant communication.
Para Caravela, el punto clave para minimizar los problemas logísticos es mantener una comunicación constante con las navieras y los clientes, monitorear constantemente los tiempos de tránsito y las tarifas con las navieras para elegir siempre la que más convenga, y en lo posible tratamos de mover el café a los puertos en las primeras semanas del mes. Con esto, si se presentan rollovers, tenemos mayor posibilidad de cumplir con el mes de embarque pactado con nuestros clientes.
Hacemos unas planeaciones en las cuales podemos tener opciones A y B. Por ejemplo, ¿qué pasa si llegamos a Portuaria y el buque se retrasó? Tenemos que estar conscientes de que va a haber un costo de almacenaje, el cual no existía, pero ahora se da. Costos son adicionales y al final pues incrementan el precio de lo que nosotros estamos exportando. Parte importante para nosotros es mantener una comunicación abierta con nuestros compañeros importadores y avisarles, por ejemplo, si hubo un cambio de ruta, si hubo un atraso, si hubo cambio de buque, que también puede suceder. Entonces mantenerlos en una comunicación abierta para que ellos estén pendientes de lo que pueda llegar a suceder si vamos en tiempo.
Those are some of the things that we're doing on the export side. What about the import side? A lot of the same things, actually. Monitoring delays, developing contingency plans if freight ultimately needs to be rerouted, and requesting expedited service from warehouses if and when possible. Possibly the biggest challenge on this side has been arranging truck freight from warehouses to roasteries. Many people these days have a story or multiple stories about coffee that arrived late, coffee that arrived on a damaged pallet, coffee that arrived late on a damaged pallet, or the worst case scenario, coffee that simply was not delivered at all. And there's no one single cause for these issues. Delays can arise from warehouses not being able to allocate labor to retrieve and prep the coffee in time for the scheduled pickup. Sometimes trucks show up and they simply don't have enough room on the truck to pick up all the coffee that they're scheduled to. But we are constantly working to identify carriers that deliver affordability, reliability, and accountability, which is not always an easy task in this environment. As far as green buyers and roasters, what they can do, just about everyone in the industry, and just about everybody the world over, has really had to make this shift from just in time to having more of a just in case mentality, really. Even in my own cupboard, I used to wait until I was on the last coffee filter to go out and get a new pack. But now I simply can't assume that pack of filters is going to be on the shelf when I need them. They could be stuck in a warehouse somewhere, stuck on a boat somewhere. We don't know. So if it is possible for you to either order a little bit more than you would normally order, or even order it just a little bit earlier, or both, just having that buffer of inventory and time just in case that there is a problem, we definitely recommend doing that. When the Suez Canal blockage first happened, I got an email from our forwarding partner in Rotterdam saying, be glad this isn't happening on your side. And I did laugh for a moment, but the next thought I had was, what if like one of those containers or more is ultimately scheduled to have our coffee inside of it? And I realized that really the biggest lesson out of all this is that there is no quote unquote other side. It's all one system. It's super interconnected. And it's amazing, but as we're seeing now, it's also amazingly fragile. And just one hiccup, whether it's a storm in the Midwest that can delay freight for weeks, or the blockage of a critical canal on the other side of the world. At this point, nobody is really immune from being touched by these issues. We appreciate you joining us today. If you have any questions about coffee that may be on the water, coffee that you've contracted or thinking about contracting, whether it's via forward contract or something currently available in our spot position or something soon to be available in our spot position, please reach out to your sales professional or visit our website, caravela.coffee, or send an email to global.logistics@caravela.coffee, and we will be happy to assist you. On behalf of myself and my colleagues, Laura and Paula and Rosanna, thank you again for joining us, and it's a pleasure and an honor to know that together we are making coffee better.